And we're back at the Randall Tyson Track Center on the campus of the University of Arkansas for more of our coverage of the 2013 NCAA Indoor Championships.
And Lawi Lalang, who is in the race, and Lalang won't forget that. We'll see what happens here.
16 competitors. They'll stay in their groups through the first 2 turns and then drop into the inside. 15 laps of this 200-meter oval. Here is how the competitors lined up. 8 athletes per page for 16 total. The top 16 times in the country during this 2013 indoor season.
Andrew Baer running very well last year and this year particularly for Indiana. Came very close to making the U.S. Olympic team at 1,500 meters. And taking the lead as he often does and likes to do. The last 2 major championships since his arrival on campus have been run with solid paces in the first part of the race, and then he steps on the gas and presses everybody in a very hard manner, and then seems to cruise late in the race. That's the way he won the NCAA cross-country title and the way he won earlier the 5,000 meters. This is a shorter race. He is a 4-minute miler, but so aren't the guys behind him. And will he be able to get away from Lawi Lalang? I doubt it. 62 seconds for the first 400 meters. Very solid, honest pace.
And since we talked about doubling in the women's side, which is somewhat rare, Abby DeAgostino only becoming the 3rd, there have been a lot of doublers on the men's side, either mile, 3K, or 2 mile, going all the way back to 1968. Jim Ryan, the great Jim Ryan, did it. Marty LaQuarrie also did it in 1971, and then Suleiman Niambui from Tanzania did it twice in 1979 and in 1982. He ran for El Paso. And then right here from Arkansas, Joe Falcon in 1988 pulled it off. And then finally in 1999, the great Bernard Lagat from Washington State pulled off the double here at the NCAA Indoor Championships.
And they're cruising up now to the 800-meter mark. Estrada from Eric Hines' coached team in Northern Arizona in yellow, floating along in 4th. He was an Olympian for Mexico. Everybody in contact here. Solid, honest. .206.7 seconds for 800 meters. Wow. To show you the talent level, he led the world early this year. The man in 2nd place, Lawi Lalang, ran 7 minutes, 42 seconds plus for 3,000 meters. When you do the conversion for that, that works out to about an 8:13 2-mile if you ran 1 more lap, equivalent of this track, to complete 2 miles. 3,000 meters is about 200 meters shy of a full 2 miles, and the talent is just huge. And he is just marking time and letting Kennedy to Gathunka, and these guys are very competitive. I've talked to Coach James Lee, and he says this guy is just fierce in training sessions, is Lawi Lalang. And I'm sure he is simply marking time here. As Kennedy says, are you guys still here? Well, yes, they are.
Both the men's and the women's team races could very likely come down.
We'll be back with more of this men's 3,000 meters when we return to Fayetteville. And we'll be back with more of this men's 3,000 meter final when we return to Fayetteville.
Pace is clicking off at around 64 seconds per lap. They'll be coming up here to the 1,600 meter mark very shortly, and it's going to be a very solid pace. Lalang takes over here, not surprisingly in a way, and they go by in about 1,600 meters, 4:12.6 seconds. So add about 2 seconds or so for that, and you've got yourself a 4:14 mile pace. Comfortable for Lalang. The question is, what can Gathunka now on his shoulder do on a kick? He can't match Lawi Lalang, I don't believe, but everybody else, the slower the pace, stays in the hunt.
So front runners dominating in these distance events here at the NCAA championships. You can see a long string of 16 athletes on the track here, the jockeying back and forth. So many athletes doubling back in this race.
Dwight, a little shout out for the man in fourth place who's sticking his nose right in it, a junior from Northeastern up in Massachusetts, Eric Jenkins. He's got a 7:50 time here, and they're around that pace or so, give or take a little bit here. There he is, and he is just saying, okay, let me see what I can do. I'm going to run with courage. I'm confident, and I want to get in and mix it up.
Yeah, two athletes from the state of Arizona there in first and third, both that live and train at altitude. Diego Estrada there with the headband and the yellow top, and Flagstaff at northern Arizona. And of course, Lawi Lalang at the altitude of Tucson. So coming down here to Fayetteville, they're drowning in oxygen. And remember that Kamoy Campbell of Arkansas is in the mix here. Important points for the Razorbacks. Had an unfortunate drop baton in the distance medley relay earlier in the meet, trying to make up for that.
Dwight, the pace is picked up here to about 63 seconds for 400-meter laps, or 2 laps is 400 meters here. So Lalang keeping it honest. Worked on his kick this year has been Diego Estrada. Said, I've worked hard on my speed. Let's see what he can do here.
3 laps to go, and Lawi Lalang continuing to lead the 3,000 meters final for men. Diego Estrada of Northern Arizona right there behind him. They seem to be dropping Henry Lele a little bit. He was up in the front through most of the race so far, but the pace has definitely picked up over the last couple of laps. Kirabil Arasa of Oklahoma State there in second as they come around with 440 yards remaining. 2 laps to go. It's Lawi Lalang, followed closely by Kirabil Arasa of Oklahoma State, who was basically out of the race early on, but was kept his powder dry, and now he's in it.
Dwight, that lap with 2 to go, 30 seconds, so they're clicking along here. Last 600 is going to be under 4-minute mile pace.
Diego Estrada is now dropping off the pace, and Henry Lele is now inserting himself back in. There's Kamoy Campbell of Arkansas up to third.
Running a terrific race is Kamoy Campbell. Look at Jenkins try and stick his nose in there.
Less than a lap to go, and the sprinting has begun. It's Lawi Lalang, and there's been a little pushing and shoving, and that really affected Kirabil Arasa. He's dropping back to fourth. If Kamoy Campbell finishes right where he is now, Arkansas could clinch. It's Lawi Lalang trying to come back after his wire-to-wire mile victory. It's going to be Lawi Lalang digging deep, looking back to make certain he has the requisite space needed. Campbell crosses in third, and Arkansas wins the men's title, but it's Lawi Lalang who pulls off the mile 3,000-meter double here at the NCAA Indoor Championships.
7 minutes, 45.9 seconds for Lawi Lalang. Just a superb effort, great time, and an hour and a half ago, this guy ran 3:54.7 seconds for the mile. This is the bell lap. He gets challenged on it, but he responds. Kamoy Campbell on the inside in the white uniform of Arkansas has to work around Arasa. And look at the work being put in by Eric Jenkins. Congratulations to him on what he does for Northeastern. Just a junior, but he matches the speed of the great Lawi Lalang on the last lap. He just can't quite close on him. Campbell having a terrific race here. Excellent time, 7:45, great stuff.
And that was a meet record eclipsing Adam Goucher's meet record from back in 1998. And Lawi Lalang becomes the 6th man to pull off the mile 3K or mile 2-mile double in a championship record. Eric Jenkins runs brilliantly to get second. Kamoy Campbell with the 6 points in third for Arkansas clinches the team title for the Razorbacks. And Lalang joins Ryan, LaCory, Niambui, Falcon, and Lagat as doublers at the indoor double at the championships.